Hey, you guys. I'm sure you're all probably feeling what's happening in our energy right now. A major purge. This is one of the biggest clearings ever. So it's very important that you be gentle with yourself and don't judge yourself. Don't judge what you're feeling. A lot of emotions are going to be coming to the surface. Okay? And a lot of these emotions are emotions that we usually don't want to feel, we don't want to deal with. But it's very important that you connect with your body and work with your body right now. Do a lot of breathing, get outside and ground. And I've been also doing a lot of stretching and moving my body because that also helps you to clear the energy. Now, one of the main points that are being affected right now are the root chakra and the solar plexus chakra. So you might notice that a lot of themes are reoccurring right now. Themes of fear, of self-worth, and forgiveness. And it's very important that you have compassion. Excuse me. It's very important that you have compassion for yourself and have compassion for others. The more compassion that you have for yourself allows you to have more compassion for others. Remember, there is no such thing as separation. So the easiest way for you to have compassion for others, to have patience, is to imagine them as your younger self. And you should also do this with yourself. Don't get angry when old thoughts and feelings reoccur. Look at it as if you're speaking to a child. Soothe and nurture yourself during those moments and support yourself. And the best way that you can support yourself is by being unconditionally loving of yourself and of others. See the blessing in everyone and in everything. And once again, the easiest way to do that is by seeing yourself in everyone. So during this time, it's very important to understand that we're all going through this together. And the work that you're doing is so very appreciated by your soul family, by the universe, by source, because truly it's not easy work. You have to literally sit with yourself right now and feel. And you're not only feeling your emotions, you're feeling the world's emotions. You're feeling the emotions of your past selves. So this is why it's important to observe, but not to identify. Remember, it is the ego that identifies with these feelings, with these themes. But you as a soul are free. So the more that you can just observe with love, with unconditional love, yourself and others. Observe without judgment. Observe without shame. Observe without guilt. Remain neutral. Remain neutral. Even if people snap at you today, even if you come across someone who isn't very kind, I want you to have compassion for them. I want you to try to put yourself even in that person's shoes. I'm not saying to let people disrespect you. I'm saying not to let them trigger you. You choose to take it personal. And once again, it is usually the ego that wants to take things personal. Which is why you as the soul, as your higher self, you guide your ego. No, we're not doing that today. It's okay, ego. That wasn't personal. You're safe. We're not letting that get to us. We're going to be in peace. We're going to remain unbothered. That's none of your business. You see, you have control. Your ego doesn't run the show. It might think that it does, but it doesn't. So get outside if you can, ground in nature, but take care of yourself right now. This is not the time to really be focused on taking care of everyone else. I'm on here sharing this message because the universe was really pushing me to do it. But honestly, at this time, understand that when you're on social media and doing all these things, you are taking other people's energy. You're exchanging energy. So be mindful of these things. Take time for yourself right now. You're not missing out on anything. Right now, it's also very important to hold a lot of self-forgiveness as well as forgiveness for others. And the best way to do that is to let go of blame. Believe it or not, blame creates a trauma bond. So even if you're angry at someone, you don't want anything to do with them, by holding on to hate and resentment and all of these low vibrational energies, you're actually keeping a cord and a bond connected. So the best way that you can free yourself is by simply forgiving them, holding compassion, understanding that neither of you are to blame, but these are contracts that you both signed up for. Even that person that hurt you, understand that they signed up for that contract to hurt you, simply so that you can learn a lesson. But you have to take accountability, because we are all mirrors of one another. We're not victims. And it's not to say that I don't acknowledge the pain that you feel, but you have to look at the part that you played in allowing that pain. At least in the situations that we can control. Because many times we ignored the signs. Many times we chose to ignore the red flags, therefore creating our own hell. So the more that we can take accountability for the parts that we play in different situations. And once again, it's not always something that you did. Some situations just happen. Some things just happen. Because there's still a lesson. There's still some blessing in it. Even if it was simply just breaking a generational curse. Everything is happening for a reason. It's all happening for you. It is. So the best thing that we can do now is to once again start falling in love with creation by seeing ourselves as creation. We're not separate from creation. Even this matrix, we all played a part in creating it. We're just at a pivotal point where we're all ready to disconnect from it. We're all ready to let it go. We're ready to be sovereign beings. And this is why you're feeling these massive upgrades right now. It's not a negative thing. It's your solar plexus trying to recalibrate. That's right, because understand that this matrix, it thrives off of mental manipulation. Yeah. Which is why most of your spiritual journey has been you reclaiming your personal power. Capitalism, narcissism, pessimism. It all thrives off of mental manipulation. So when you can no longer be mentally manipulated, you free yourself from the chains. So the more that we look within ourselves and see where we've been giving our power away, caring too much about what other people think, not being authentic to ourselves, to who we are and how we feel, the more that we free ourselves. And the more that we free ourselves, the more we free the world. Through self-love, unconditional love, not only for yourself, but for others and for life. Life doesn't have anything against you. Life loves you unconditionally. So it's time we find unconditional love in our hearts for our lives, because we are the creator of our realities, and we can change the dynamic of what we see on a day-to-day basis. Life is not the problem. It's how we're choosing to live it. So once again, be gentle with yourself during this time. You're such a beautiful soul. You're so appreciated for taking this stance, by healing, by going within, by choosing to let go. So continue to do that. As you feel these feelings, let them go. Don't identify with them. Don't beat yourself up. Understand it's not even yours. None of these emotions or these traumas or even these identities were yours. They're not yours. It is the ego that tells you, this is who I am. I am hurting. But that is not true. So you have to stop identifying with it, and it will hold less power over you. Choose to see the truth in things, because otherwise you will manipulate yourself. And once again, this matrix is driven by mind manipulation. Even you thinking that it is real is a deception. So don't deceive yourself. Wake up to the truth. All of this was for you. All of this was for us to learn lessons. All of this is contracted. Those people that hurt you, you made a contract with them to play that part. So hold compassion for their soul, because they actually had to come down a notch in order to play that role. So believe it or not, their soul feels so guilty, and only you can set them free through the truth of seeing, you are my reflection, you are me. Thank you. Hold gratitude for the part that they played in your evolution. And this is how we continue to free ourselves, and do it without expectation of anything. This is not a business transaction. I forgive you and then you give me this. I forgive you so that I can receive this. It's not about doing it to get something. We're doing this to free ourselves, to come back home. So love others simply out the kindness of your heart, simply because you want to receive more love, and you want to live in a more loving planet. We have to be the change that we want to see. This is probably one of the roughest periods. You know what they say, it's the darkest before the dawn. But literally, I thought to myself, man, with everything that I've had to overcome, I feel like Moses when he was leading the people to the promised land. Literally, you guys, I just had a thought to open up YouTube. Do you know that there was a short right at the top of Moses? And he was telling the Pharaoh to let his people go. Now, once again, I'm not religious, okay? But I got a download today in regards to that story. So I'm sitting here at work, and once again, Moses comes up, and I see this illustration of how the story is actually based on us. That's right. Pharaoh, bear with me, you guys, because I'm trying to get this out. So Pharaoh symbolizes the bondage that we put ourselves in, the slavery that we put ourselves in through our thoughts. When Moses finally remembered who he was, that was his spiritual awakening. And then Moses went on his spiritual journey. Throughout that journey, he was ridiculed. Okay? People were looking at him like, who do you think you are? Okay? There was a moment where Pharaoh even said, command, yes, because he began to command his reality. He began to command that I am no longer a slave. I am free. My people will be free. Now, let's move on. When he was going into the promised land, there were a lot of obstacles. Fear was chasing him. That was his past. That was the fear of change that was chasing him down. And when, I don't want to get into too much of it because it is very metaphysical as well. But when we get into the parting of the Red Sea, this is your left and right brain is what I was seeing. Okay. And you have right there in the middle, your pineal gland, your spirit, your soul. And he was able to go through both, okay, to get to the other side. Once again, I'm trying to explain this the best I can, you guys, based on the illustration that I saw. The promised land, the wilderness, this is one that we all know too well. This is the in-between. This is when you've gone on your spiritual journey. You're in the process of transformation, but you haven't quite gotten to the promised land. And sometimes you might not even be able to see it. It looks so far away. All of the obstacles, the children of Israel, they were obsessed with these giants, and it caused so much fear. So many of us, we see the future. We see the promised land, all the things that we manifest, all the things that we want. But then you start doubting yourself. Fear sets in. What if I'm not ready? What if it comes with challenges? What if it's not as easy as I think it is? What if I fail? Those were the giants that actually kept them from going into the promised land. And once again, the wilderness was them actually going through the transformation, because you don't just go from point A to point B. You have to go through purging. You have to go through shedding. You have to die to your old self. Okay? And they were practically dying out in that wilderness. But this is what many of us are going through right now. You may be in the wilderness and you're asking yourself, when will I get to the promised land? When will I get to that place of peace? When will I get to that place of rest? When will I have my milk and honey? And Source is not ignoring you. Source is hearing you, but Source also knows the plan. You will eventually get to the promised land, but there are still things that you have to shed, because remember, when the children of Israel got in the wilderness, their old ways came out again, right? They went back to doing the things that they were doing in Egypt. They went back into their comfort zone. So sometimes during that waiting period, the universe is testing you to see, are you really serious? Do you really want this? Or are you going to go back to your old self? Are you going to go back to your old ways? And as many of us know, according to the story, Moses got angry and he didn't make it. Because he became impatient, he gave up. The wait was too long. He didn't want to be made a mockery of. The pressure of the people became too much, their gossip. I'm pretty sure he started to feel ashamed and embarrassed. God, why will you make a fool of me? You got me telling these people that we're going to the promised land. I've taken them away from their home, and now here we are in the wilderness. Why would you make a mockery of me? Many of you have gone through that throughout this manifestation cycle. You've told people the things that you wanted to manifest, and they look at you as though you're delusional, as though you're crazy, because they don't see the bigger picture. But you can't lose faith. You can't lose faith. especially when you're so close. They were so close. But yet Moses became angry and frustrated, and he gave up. And he missed out on his opportunity. So I'm telling you today, don't miss out on your opportunity. Remain patient. No matter what other people are saying, if they want to give up hope, let them. But don't you give up hope on yourself. Don't you give up hope on your dreams. Don't you give up hope on your manifestations. They are coming. God is just testing you to see if you're really ready, to see how bad you want it, and to prepare you so that you don't lose it when you get there, or so that you don't go back to your old ways and end up right back in the same place. You're almost at your promised land. But remember, it's not about the things that you possess. That promised land resides within you. It is the peace, the abundance that you feel within yourself, within your spirit, and within your soul. And that will be reflected in the world through things. But the true abundance is within you. And you don't have to wait for that. Peace and love, family.